Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Nurwazan binti Johari. My machine number is A20A1903.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Sofia Nabiha binti Roslan. My metric number is A20A2003.
Hi, my name is Raja Nusamiha binti Raja Mak Suhaimi. My metric number is A20A1920.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Siti Nuriha binti Razali. My metric number is A20A1966.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Farshira binti Muhammad Kamal. My metric number is A20A1617.
Merupakan di atas Jabatan Tenaga
Assalamualaikum and hi. Today with me Sofia Nabiha as a moderator. So today we will interview several panel members to discuss our topic that we have chosen before, which is forced labour in Malaysia. Before we start our discussion, let me give some statistics of this topic and why and how forced labour can be exist. Forced labour is any work or service which people are forced to do against their will under threat of punishment. Almost all service practice contains some element of forced labour. Based on official data from the Immigration Department, 20% of the country in this world involved in forced labour issue. So, every issue happen in Malaysia must have a reason. What do you think one of the reason this happened, Ms. Wazani?
Thank you to Sophia for this question. Exploitation of children is one of the reasons why this issue happened. According to International Labour Organization, not all child labour should be considered exploited, but it prevents children from living in their childhood naturally. After that, it can be endangers the physical and mental development of children. The latest data shows that there are 150 million children between age of 5 until 14 are working, mostly in Asia, Africa and Latin America. Next, the presence of illegal immigrants in Malaysia is one of the reasons. They enter the border without permission because they need a job to survive their life. By that, the employer will take advantage of them because the employer know that forced labor will do anything to get money for survive. For example, the employer do not care about welfare of workers. This is the incident almost happened in this whole country.
I totally agree with you, Ms. Wazani, that forced labour exists caused by the presence of illegal immigrants in Malaysia. This existence have given an advantage to employers who want to cut human resource costs. Next, the reason of this issue of forced labour is the abuse of forced labour by employer or firms. Hence, when employees are expected to work overtime but are not compensated for it, this is an issue because they are unaware of their right as a worker. This giving a chance for irresponsible entities to profit from forced labour. Among the cases involving forced labour in Malaysia is labour abuse by Malaysian supplier ATA, IMS or ATA KL. They are taking advantage of this forced labour because they do not know their right as a worker. This question I would like to ask our panel. In your view, what is the main impact we can see since forced labour happen?
In my opinion, the impact on the issue of forced labour is also one of the confidence of investors to invest in our country. What I understand, as a result, it has affected the willingness of international investors to invest and result in our country lacking staff to meet the demand of foreign investors during the COVID-19 pandemic. It is because all business operation cannot be carried out. The bad image of Malaysia that I see cause foreign investors to lose faith in our country's ability to supply such goods.
This impact really gives a bad impact to our country Let me share my opinion in impact aspect to this issue. In my opinion, the next impact of forced labor is the employers and concern about the health of forced labor workers. Why this happen? The workers always been forced to work overtime and do something they didn't want to do. Meanwhile, the boss always take an advantage of them because not all of them are educated. This issue is a serious issue actually, and I strongly agree with this impact of forced labor. The reason why I agree because they are human too. At least as an employee, you need to have an empathy and sympathy.
Yes, that's right, Riha. I agree with you. We as a human being need to have a humanity in us so that as not to become a human being who has no heart for the things around us. I would also like to point out other effects where forced labor is also associated or equated with human trafficking, which is where this issue of human trafficking not only affects the general population but the whole country. Responsible parties often turn refuge from Bangladesh or Vietnam into slave labor. They are not paid or persecuted. They are easily deceived is an emergency by the syndicate with the aim of personal gain. As the result, the country has a negative image through this.
Thank you, Ms. Wazani. Now we can see there are 2 points why forced labor happen in this measure. Everything happen in this world must have the impact either in the positive way or negative way. This question I would like to ask our panel, which is Ms. Farah. In your view, what is the risk that we can see since forced labor happen?
In my view, the risk we can see since forced labor happened is legal risk. Most countries consider forced labor and human trafficking to be criminal offenses. Companies found to be involved or complicit in such activity may face criminal or civil charges. Sanctions may include fines, victim compensation, and imprisonment. Forced labor and human trafficking are also violations of international humanitarian law. Second, trade risk. Some nation trade policies explicitly ban the import of items produced by trafficking or caused labor. Allegation of misuse in certain jurisdictions might result in imported items being confiscated by governmental authorities, examined and released only when shown to be untainted.
Thank you, Ms. Farah, for your explanation. Apart from the effect, what is the threat that will occur if this forced labor is still left? Ms. Wazani, can you explain a bit?
If this forced labor still occurring in this country, it will give a threat to investment and finance, human rights violation, forced labor and allegation of human trafficking can affect investor relations, resulting in disposal from ethical and mainstream investors. They may also risk to access public subsidies such as export credits, as our government increasingly link financial assistance to certified ethical performance. After that, it will give a threat to brand value and company reputation. Allegation of forced labor and human trafficking can jeopardize a company's brand value and image, especially for consumer goods industry. Brand contamination allegation may be difficult to rectify and will resulting in the loss of contracts or future business opportunities.
Thank you, Ms. Wazani, for your explanation. In this issue, we can see the risk and threat involve everyone in the sector. So, if we as a government, what are the best actions should be taken to settle this issue based on your view, Ms. Samiha?
Thank you to Sophia. The best action should be taken to settle this issue based on my view is government need to take action to be committed to addressing the issue of forced labor by improving compliance with labor laws. That is to ensure that certain type of activities have no signs of voluntary work performance. Next, make sure the completion of the work is not done under the threat of punishment. For example, Malaysia and the United States Department of Customs and Border Protection, which is USGST, will establish strategic cooperation in effort to combat the issue of forced labor through the establishment of a working committee. Human Resources Minister Datuk Seri M. Saravanan said the committee, which would meet every 3 months, would focus on the exchange of information on the element of forced labor. He said it includes formulating policies to support initiatives to eliminate such activities. USGST is expected to hold a working visit to Malaysia at the end of the month and organize workshops with industry movers. In my opinion, the way to solve the problem of forced labor in this country is with empowering the rule of law through the amendment of the Employment Act 1955. In Malaysia, domestic work can be considered as a vulnerable work with precarious rights. The Employment Act 1955 clearly recognized domestic workers as one type of an employee covered under the above Act. Unfortunately, the law excludes them from several common rights as compared to other occupations. Due to these legal exclusions, domestic workers are deprived of enjoying basic necessities of term in the contract of employment, such as paid leave, rest day, working hours, break hours, maternity protection, and others. The Employment Act 1955 sets down the minimum compensation that applicable to employers, which is only applied to employees with an annual wage of less than Rm 2,000 and also to employees who work in manual labor regardless of their pay. The reason and effect that you all have discussed, I believe our national government can solve this problem in a few steps. Limiting foreign worker recruiting is one of them. Restriction on the requirement of foreign laborers for agricultural work, such as those from Indonesia and Bangladesh. In actuality, the administration maintained that had been no discussion of reimbursing the expense of hiring foreign workers since the beginning of the Movement Control Order, which is MCO, replacing foreign workers with local unemployed workers.
From everyone's explanation, I strongly agree with why forced labor happened and how to overcome this issue from becoming worse than this. Every party involved should be made aware of the issue of forced labor. So before we end this discussion, I would like to hear Ms. Noriha's point of view on the overall discussion about forced labor issue.
My point of view, the issue of coerced and unfree labor is becoming more widespread. To lessen the nation's reliance on it and to address the labor shortage, the government must address the issue of forced labor. Individually, these conditions' effects are more favorable than adverse. Human resources should avoid favoring one party over the other in the future to better recruit workers. Employees will benefit in every way from a positive work environment and memorable experience. So that's all my point.
I agree with all of your opinion, as we can see that this issue of forced labor is happening a lot in the country nowadays. This issue need to be emphasized to maintain the well-being of the people in our country. Besides, this issue need to be eradicated on a large scale to safeguard the national economy and the security of the local people. If forced labor is not addressed immediately, the country will suffer in the future. As a result, all parties involved, especially the government, should face the issue of forced labor rather than allow to escalate into a case in Malaysia. The welfare of workers is important to take care of because they are the ones who contribute the national economy. Thanks everyone for the time. I also hope this issue can be handled by the government because it will affect every who being forced to work. Have a good day everyone. Bye.